All right, hear me out. I got my Note 9 6 years ago. So, by my rough math, if I were to buy a Pixel 9 Pro Fold today and use it for 6 years, that's only $300 a year. Good Lord, is that ever a lot to spend on a phone? And if I end up needing to buy a subscription to the Gemini features that are included for now, it could be even more. It's really frustrating because other tthan the price, man, is this thing ever tempting? Is that the general consensus on this thing? Because I'm tempted. But then again, you guys already know that I'm a bit of a sucker when it comes to foldables. Let's pop this open. Ooh, they say it's the thinnest foldable phone, which is another way of saying it's not a very thin phone, but actually, ooh, it's pretty handleable. Also, this front screen, dang. From our brightness testing and from the spec sheet, it looks like they are actually using the same screen as the regular Pixel 9, which means that in candy bar form, it's as usable as a regular phone. It really is not that thick. Ooh, guys, I kinda like it. Like this is great. The only question being, if I like this so much, why don't I just get a Pixel 9? Okay, hold on. We'll get to that. But first, let's talk what's in the box. We've got a USB-C to C cable, a SIM removal tool, and that's it. So if you want to charge at the rated 45 watts, not bad actually, then you will need to get yourself a 45 watt wall wart. On the top, we've got one of our microphones, one of our stereo speakers. Over on the bottom, we've got two more microphones, the other stereo speaker, a USB-C input, and our SIM tray. On the right, we've got a power button and volume rocker. And finally on the left, not a whole lot. Just a couple of antenna bands. They're using Corning Victus 2 glass on both the front and the back. You know, I always forget how big Pixel camera bumps are, and then I get my hands on a Pixel and I'm like, wow, that's a big camera bump. Maybe it's justified though? You get a pretty decent camera array for a foldable, even if it doesn't hold up to the Pixel 9 Pro. You get a 48 megapixel wide camera, approximately 10 megapixel ultra wide and telephotos, and then you've also got two more cameras. So one on the front and an inner camera in here. Now I have to confess, I've done my usual thing with this launch where I've tried to learn as little about it as possible. So I don't actually know if it's a pinhole camera or a through screen camera, and I'm about to find out if I can figure out how to close this app. Hello? I've tried swiping from every edge. Okay, I can see from a security standpoint how that's kind of useful. If you just double tap to open the camera, you cannot interact with the phone in any other way, but you'd think it would just prompt you for the pin if you, sure. I think they could improve that. It's a pinhole. Okay, so you just have a hole in your display. But I mean, realistically, for a lot of the types of content that you would consume, you're not gonna need that part of the screen anyway, because even 4:3 video is gonna be like this. This is practically a square display. It's like having two phones side by side. It's what the Surface Duo wanted to be. Of course, the question is, how well did they execute? Front screen, I've already said what I need to say. It looks great, and we were able to verify Google's claims with respect to max brightness, both in standard dynamic range and in high dynamic range. This is a really nice display. Of course, you don't spend this kind of money on a phone so that you can just use the front display. And I have some good news here. The folding inner display also hits those impressive advertised brightness numbers, meaning that HDR content is really gonna pop off the screen. Ooh, now that's pretty, but there's some issues here. Like any folding display, there is a crease, and you can see, oh yeah, there you go. If I catch the light with it, you can really see it. With that said, when I'm watching a video and I'm looking at it head on, I'm really not noticing it unless I'm looking for it or unless there's a distracting reflection that's nearby. Of course, the bigger issue for me is that with 16:9 content, is that much bigger? I mean, it's bigger, but like, man, I don't know. That's a tough one to justify. I mean, YouTube TV has that thing where you can watch more than one video at once. It's not available in Canada, so I can't try it, but it's ultimate brain rot? No. It's gonna come down to multitasking. So you're able to set up apps side by side. Let's actually have a quick look at that. Super cool. We actually talked in more detail about some of the AI features of the Pixel 9 lineup in our Pixel 9 and Pixel 9 Pro video, so you guys can go check that out. In the meantime, let's tuck this away. I can't take video while I'm watching video. Hello? There we go. Just A little interface bug there, don't worry. I'm sure Google will figure that out at some point. So that's a use case. I can take video while I watch video. Wow, that looks like hot garbage. There's no way the video recording on this thing is that bad. No, it's smudgy, hold on. Okay, that's better. Ooh, stabilization's pretty nice. Yeah, man, Google's got work to do still when it comes to video. Can we at least take a decent photo though? Oh, so much better. Do you see the saturation keep changing as I zoom in and out? You can really see it in the skin tones. Cause I was trying to see, like, did it do a better job of actually like making you look alive? And it does, but only sometimes. Super weird. Anyway, this looks really good. This looks really sharp. I would consider this to be extremely acceptable for sure. What about the selfie camera? I guess there's more than one selfie camera. Definitely gonna take some getting used to if you haven't side-by-sided on a folding device before. How's this guy? Yeah, she's soft. She's real soft, which makes the aging marks look even more jarring, cause like my skin is super smooth, except for like giant crow's feet. Bokeh effect, not bad though. Not bad, Google. Look at that, it even nailed the earrings. That's a really tough one. Let's go ahead and switch to the other more different selfie camera. Good enough. And same thing, portrait, pretty good. Maybe even great, but I feel like I've gotten distracted a little bit here. What am I supposed to be talking about? Oh yeah, let's talk about the Hinge. So as someone who daily drove a Fold 3 for a couple of years actually, now I think about it, one of the things that drives me most crazy is that within a very short period of time, often with these phones, you go from this super straight, super flat display to one that only opens kind of most of the way, unless you kind of, force it a little bit. And unfortunately, that's not something that I can comment on now, having just pulled this out of the box for the first time. But what I can say is that the spring action feels pretty strong, and at least out of the box, it's extremely flat. It's just a really big investment for something that you're not gonna find yourself using all the time. When I was dailying a Fold for a few years, what I discovered was that even media content, I didn't always bother to open up the inner display. And especially with a device like this that has such a good front screen experience, I can tell you guys now, I would do a lot of light web browsing on the front screen. I would probably do almost all of my typing on the front screen. I know a split keyboard is okay. I don't like it. I just don't find it as comfortable. I don't find it as fast. I like being able to reach over to the other side for maximum speed. So the folding experience only really comes alive for me when I am reading a lot. And you can tell, man, this view is so much better, especially when ads can take up so much of the page when you're trying to read an article. It's an absolute game changer. And of course, for productivity. Anytime you're remote desktopping into a machine or anytime you're accessing a big Google Sheet, it is an absolute game changer. Or if you're looking at reference material while you're filling something out. Man, I absolutely love the foldable display, and the good news is the performance of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is actually pretty okay. It's not the best. The Tensor G4 lags behind other flagship chips when it comes to performance. We saw this with the Pixel 9 and Pixel 9 Pro. But more importantly, it lags behind other chips when it comes to thermals, which is why the Pixel 9 Pro Fold has even worse gaming performance than the candy bar equivalents. And that's just down to cooling. When you're building a device this thin, there's nowhere for the heat to go. It shouldn't affect multitasking too much. They managed to pack 16 gigs of RAM in here, along with 256 gigs or 512 gigs of storage, along with Bluetooth 5.3, Wi-Fi 7, which is pretty cool, and a surprisingly similar capacity battery compared to the regular Pixel 9 and Pixel 9 Pro, leaving only one major question outstanding. How are those stereo speakers? Man, the really square form factor, I'm really not sure how to feel about it. On the one hand, it saves me the trouble of going like this to watch, landscape content. But on the other side, it really makes me wonder, wait, is that worse? I think that's worse. I can't tell. Here, I'm gonna use this case box to landmark. I'll talk about this in a second. Okay, here, so it goes to about the 0, okay? Now we go to landscape mode. Oh my gosh, that's really close. I think it is ever so slightly bigger if you rotate it. So That's good, because that's where the stereo speakers are. They're on the top and the bottom. That's a pretty big sound for such a skinny thing. That's what I tell my wife when we're arguing. She yells at me. No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Can you imagine? She'd kill me. Good thing she doesn't watch these videos. Having one of the speakers here and one of them here, so they're offset, that was a choice. It's kind of hard to avoid covering one of them a little bit. Let's have a look at this case. Eco-friendly packaging, all paper. You love to see it. Well, I don't know if you do, but I do. Oh wow, it uses adhesive. You just stick it on there. There, so it goes like that. And now maybe less likely breaky. Oh, speaking of, it's IPX8. So should be pretty water resistant, which, hey, if you're anything like me and you break your folding device by accidentally, carefully lowering yourself into a pool, could be good. Overall though, is it time for me to go back to a folding device? I mean, there's so many little software things that are so much better thought out than they used to be, right? Like, okay, auto rotate, whether it's folded and unfolded, I can have different settings. Oh man, this is cool. There's a look here mode, so you can put a little character on here. Oh yeah, there we go. Made you look. Oh, I have to rotate the phone? There you go. Oh, there's different ones. Are you kidding me? Why would they do that? No, that's why the picture sucks. I mean, we've had AI change slightly where the eyes are looking since how many years now? Just have have them look over here and then just alter that. Oh, they used the crappy camera for made you look. Yeah, I want the worst possible pictures of the child. Oh, what a downer to end the video on. Bottom line though, am I gonna go back to a foldable? It's tough. The price is, even if they fix the minor issues over the 7 years they are planning to support this thing with software, it's just so much for something that can so easily be damaged or lost. And I think that if you're anything like me, it might actually be nice to have the peace of mind of just having something that doesn't matter that much. So you can just kind of, chuck it down and not really think about it. Bottom line, I want it. I want to use it, I want to try it. But it's the kind of thing that even if I love it, if someone walked up to me and asked, oh wow, that's so cool, would you recommend it? It would be hard for me to say yes. Though if you are gonna spend that kind of money, hey, at least treat yourself to something nice from our sponsor. All right, here we go. I've got one of dbrand's tempered glass screen protectors here, and they've given me full reign to abuse the crap out of it after I install it on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. All right, nailed it. And even if I didn't, realistically, it doesn't matter, they include a second one. Now the question is, what is this doing here? Slide the drill bit along the surface of the glass, like slashing a screen protector with a knife.
You got a drill.
With it on?
Yeah.
Huh. Let's put more pressure on it.
No, I think it should do it because
dude. Damn! You can pick up this and, the same thing, but for many other devices at shortlinus.com. Wasn't that fun, or painful, or humiliating? I don't know. We shot that after. Anyways, like and subscribe to Short Circuit.